That's crazy. You're lucky. Normally I cannot stream Friday and weekends, but I am surprisingly free. Why are you awake, Dawn? Welcome, Dawn. Nah, today's Homestuck update was crazy. I knew Megalovania was gonna play, but I didn't think it was gonna be so early. I got jump scared so bad. What a... oh my gosh. I trusted Vriska. I trusted Vriska. That's all I can say. Anyways, Umineko. Forget what the adults expected. At least for us kids. These were supposed to be a fun couple of days where the cousins deepened their friendship. However, when we woke up, there was an unbelievably cruel reality waiting for us. No! No! Come on. At least we get to see more Jessica. Joru-san, Iki, and Jessica were crying over Shannon-chan and Kanon-kun's deaths. Right now, everyone who was alive had gathered in the lobby of the first floor of the guest house. Wow, we've never seen this place before. This is pretty. Oh, what a lovely place. And there were 12 people there. Unbelievable, right? There were 18 until yesterday. And in one night, a third of the number had lost their life. Okay, so you can start RUC or you can read them, but you can't read it, so I do want to, but I want to give them like actual thought because it's important. And right now, I just woke up a bit ago and I was coerced by Ruby Tomato, blackmailed, one could say, to read Umineko today. What? Have I gotten... Ah! You... Guys, see? Ah! Oh, it's so good! It was worth it. It was worth it. It was worth it. Although, you should have saved it until the stream was over. Because now I can end the stream right now. I got what I wanted. Oh. This... I don't know what y'all did, but this artist y'all found... They're a god. They're a god. I literally did nothing. It was what do you... wait. Oh my gosh, wait. Since when does Sims have a red colored title in the server? I see red and I think Ruby Tomato. It is kind of pinkish though. Thank you, Sims. Whatever you did. Whatever you did. Blackmail. I literally did nothing, it was Tony. They were 18 until yesterday, and in one night a third of that number had lost their lives. I am colorblind, I am name blind. I'm blind. I eventually suffered up from my agitation, and along with my lack of sleep from being woken up so early in the morning, I was beginning to feel a faint sense of unreality. I want to think this is some kind of bad dream. My cheap escapism keeps telling me that over and over. Maria had gone back to sleep on the sofa Rosa was sitting at. This place is so pretty! How come we never seen more of this place, the guest house? Rather than her having nerves of steel, she probably genuinely hadn't had enough sleep. Whoa! Everyone gets to hold the gun. Maria's face not carry. I forget if I said this in a stream before, but I appreciate Maria a lot for representing escapism, I suppose. Just, her life is so awful, her dad is gone, her mother sucks, her mother brings strange men into the house every night, so she has just Like this is another bit for me of not believing in magic, because it's just make-believe of a little girl trying to escape her horrible life. Nothing bothers her anymore because she has convinced herself that reality is fake and all that matters is magic in this golden land that she has been promised. It means a lot. It's really cool. I like that a lot, and that's why I really like Maria a lot. Anyways. Yeah, those were holding items from what was apparently grandfather's collection. Short barrel Winchester rifles. Apparently relics from a time he'd been obsessed with westerns. There were four guns altogether. Those had been split up among the four siblings: Uncle Kraus, Aunt Eva, my dad, and Aunt Rosa. Not so he doesn't get one. Paper boxes filled with bullets lay on the table, and the siblings were silently loading them. It's a little scary. Even now, touching one of these. I get the feeling Dad would yell, "Don't touch that!" and hit me. Well, isn't that great? No matter how much you touch them, you won't be hit again. They're so small. I can't believe it. To think that Father would meet this kind of end. Interesting. So they did see, quote-unquote, his body, but I don't trust it. I don't trust it one bit. How's the character Benny looking? Not yet. Okay. I don't trust it. Like I said, when we found Kinzo's body in episode 1, its face was covered. You couldn't tell if it was really him. So I'm sure something like, because if his death was really by burning, then like, oh duh, GG's, that is the easiest way to cover up someone's identity. You couldn't make it any more easier for me. So we'll see. Well, I never did expect Kinzo-san to die normally. Oh! Well, I never did expect Kinzo-san to die normally in his death. But even so, it was too horrible. Hey. Ew. Oh my god. I wonder if that really was Father. Okay. Now they're making it too obvious, so I no longer believe that I'm right. I think it might be a different person's corpse. He says a substitute to trick us. And no, it was Father, without a doubt. You saw his toes, right? Generally speaking, there aren't many humans with 6 toes on both feet. That again, but again, I am so not believing of that. Like, I don't got anything right now, but absolutely. That toe, feet defense won't work on me. It won't work on me. But that doesn't mean that such people don't exist. I've heard that polydactyly isn't that rare of a disease. That's another thing. So, last stream I said that Battle's wording on how there's only 18 people on the island was very peculiar. Because it said there's only 18 humans. She doesn't consider herself a human. So I still believe that she's in there. Second, by that, like, she wasn't specific about it, but to me, saying that means that she's only counting alive people. What if Kinzo had dead bodies ready as substitute for himself, and these dead bodies had 6 toes? I'm just saying, you can't beat me. He was a man who liked large-scale tricks, right? He might have obtained a corpse from somewhere that... I was joking. You might have obtained a corpse from somewhere that had the same number of toes on both feet. Ridiculous! Why would he do something like that? I'd agree if he was a normal person. But this Father we're talking about. You can't be sure Kairi-san's talking nonsense. You knocking on the table feels like you're trying to... That is exactly the point, yes. I'm trying to get my thoughts into y'all's head so y'all don't forget that I'm right and I've never been wrong. After all, burning a corpse like that makes it hard to identify. Still, there should be a few ways to examine him from his teeth and bone structure. If the police are investigated, of course they'll be able to know whose body it was right away. The problem is is that his voice? Problem is we need a telephone engineer more than the police right now. The boat probably won't come in this typhoon. So, will they arrive tomorrow? Most likely, the bird will come again at 9 a.m. tomorrow. Then I believe we will be able to contact the police. It's the same for us and the culprit. Until the typhoon passes, this island will be closed off. This song. Just from our parents' conversation, you could probably figure out the general gist, but let's explain the situation anyway. First, early this morning. In various places... I heard it! I heard it this time. Okay. Kumasawa Chiyo. Corpse discovered in the second floor guest room. The murder weapon is assumed to be a gun or spear-shaped object. The seldom used guest room on the second floor was her secret napping spot. The brain worms digging in. You need to hear the sound. Goda Toshiro. Corpse discovered in the third floor, servants' quarters. The murder weapon is assumed to have been a gun or spear-shaped object. He wanted to gain Kinso's favor. The room next to the study is appropriate for him. Kanon. Corpse discovered in the chapel. The murder weapon is assumed to be a gun or spear-shaped object. The chapel for Kanon, even after death, keeps on protecting the place important to the Lord. This is gonna be so hard. Oh my gosh. If I may derail a moment. This gif is ridiculous. Anyways, if I may derail. Crap, what was I thinking? Crap, the stupid GIF. Oh, right, I remember now, because, random thought. I don't think any of you would be able to give any kind of response to this. It's just a thought. So we went over how all of you believe in magic. Crazy. Insane. But the thing that gets me, and I'm so curious about, is the fact that all of you also seem very interested in and have been able to solve the mysteries, the murders. Meaning that you found non-magic ways to explain the murders. And yet, y'all believe in magic. So, I am so curious. I can't wait. Because I'm going to assume it's one of those things where it's less so about believing in magic and it's about what it means. Like, yeah, you could prove everything. It wasn't done with magic. But what does that mean about you? Like, by disproving, by saying you don't believe in magic, you are disproving something else that means more. Like Beatrice's existence, or Beatrice's love, or the relationships that were built upon the story. And by saying you don't believe in magic, you would be denying that too. And you don't want to do that. So instead you would cast away logic to continue living in this sweet fantasy. And I am very curious to see if I feel the same. Because absolutely I will. Like 100% I will. But I'm still curious. Wrong buster, actually. Magic is real. I don't know what else to tell you. Right. I'll continue now. Shannon. Corpse discovered in the parlor on the first floor. The murder weapon is assumed to be a gun or spear-shaped object. For Shannon, the parlor whose view of the rose garden was beautiful on some near days. Ronoe Genji. Corpse discovered in the second room floor VIP room. The murder weapon is assumed to be a gun or spear set shot. In appreciation for his many years of service, Genji shall be permitted to sleep in the VIP room. Alright, the one I've been waiting for. Ushiramiya Kinso discovered as a burnt corpse from the incinerator in the underground boiler room. As there were no signs that he fought to get out of the incinerator, it seems reasonable to think that he was burned after he was murdered. Too bad this time. Game over right at the very start. Wrong. I just... how? Like, there's no other way to explain it except that he had dead bodies ready. Because if they found all the other like last time there was some time between the 6 sacrifices and Kinso's body discovery. So it could have been that it was like Shannon's body or Rudolph's or whatever put into the incinerator. But here, they were all found relatively around the same time. They could make a bit about one of the bodies, like, let's say the family found Shannon's body first. And while they were finding all the other bodies, the culprit went, grabbed Shannon's body, and put it into the incinerator. And then the family found it. But that's such a super stretch, and we weren't given that illusion of time passing between each body discovery. But maybe, just putting it out there. Write it down. Anyway. Play the game. In various places throughout the mansion, a total of 6 corpses, including grandfather and all the servants, had been found, one after the other. First, grandfather had been in the boiler room, completely burnt. Okay, so it was... he was the first one to be found, so completely... Never mind, don't write it down. Write it down. The servants had died, each shut up in their rooms throughout the mansion that had magic circles drawn on them. The cause of death for the servants was uncertain. But according to Dr. Nanjo's diagnosis, there was a high likelihood that they had been stabbed by something like a spear, or possibly shot with a gun. Those had started aiming themselves with Winchesters. And what made the situation even more chaotic was the fact that the telephones had become unusable. It was unknown if lightning had caused them to break down or if the culprit had broken them. You don't know how badly burned it is, you know? You could have lost... You don't get it. You haven't played Danganronpa, okay? You haven't played Danganronpa. You wouldn't get it. They did this trick in there too. They burned a body to make it believe that it was another one. At any rate, since contact with the outside had been cut off, we couldn't reach the police. So until the typhoon passes and a boat comes tomorrow morning, we'll have to protect ourselves. After all, Ronkiki is now isolated by the typhoon. And just as we're stuck on the island, so is the culprit. It seemed that the adults had stayed up all night holding the family conference in the mansion's dining hall the whole time. And yet the crime had occurred in the mansion. So right when the adults had been in an uproar over money, the murderer had been killing under the same roof. They say Aunt Natsumi's been strict about locking the doors and windows at the night. I'm sorry, I didn't choose to be who I am. They say Aunt Natsumi's been strict about locking the doors and windows at night, and yet some suspicious person had entered and left the mansion. The adults had decided that the inside of the mansion was too large to be safe. So they had pulled out the guns and moved to the guest house where we had been. Which brings us to the present. Joro Janiki had begged to shoot Shaman-chan's corpse, but the adults had refused, saying that he mustn't do so until the police arrived. That wasn't just because they wanted to see all the rooms to preserve the scene. After all, the culprit who had killed 6 people was wondering about the mansion. To the Ushiramiya family right now, the mansion that should have been their home was now a danger zone that an unknown murderer could enter and leave us will. After all, it's a large mansion. There are plenty of blind spots and dark places, and it's too vast to guarantee the absolute safety with the number of people. Relatively speaking, the guest house was much smaller. It had 2 above-ground stories. Something like 10 or so rooms. Apparently, it had originally been constructed to serve as a small hotel as part of a plan to turn this island into a resort. So it was easier to know what was going on everywhere inside it, and it was easier to keep safe. It made for a good place to hole up in. Also, it was extremely likely that this mass murder of 6 people was a game. After all, the culprit had proclaimed so in the letter. I heard that a Western-style envelope with the family crest had, just like the one Maria claimed to have received from Beatriz yesterday, had been found in the boiler room where grandfather's corpse had been discovered. This was what the letter said. Learning anything in school as well, just be born and read Umineko. So there will be no misunderstandings. The game I seek is for everyone to try and solve the riddle of the epitaph, not for you to try and catch me. If you don't solve the riddle, the pitiful sacrifices will further increase in number. It would be wiser to spend your time solving the epitaph instead of searching for me. If no one can solve the riddle, no one will survive. If a person appears who can miraculously solve it, I will give them all the gold of the Golden Land, the Ushiriya family headship, and all of my power. I was the one who succeeded in the Ushiriya family headship after Kinso-sama. I look forward to seeing who will succeed in that headship after me. The Golden Witch Beatriz. So I was reading that slowly because a thought came to me. So again, I believe that Kinso is the one behind everything, not Beatriz. So I really wonder if you take all these letters and compare them to how Kinso and Beatriz speaks, if you would be able to tell that is Kinso writing them, if it's his way of speaking. I'm too bad at things like that, so I can't piece them together now. But something that caught my attention right now was Kinso-sama. Has Beatriz ever called Kinso-sama? I don't think she has ever used an honorific for Kinso at all. And every time she has talked about Kinso, it's just been Kinso. Because she doesn't see him as higher or an equal, it's just a guy, right? So the fact that this letter calls him Kinso-sama, it's such an egotistical thing that I can see Kinso writing. Like, who succeeded in Ushiriya family headship after the great Lord Majesty Kinso, like, he would write that. So I really wonder if we could look at all the letters and compare them to how Kinso talks, and if they would be similar. That would be really cool. The riddle of the epitaph was that thing. That strange epitaph written by the portrait of the witch on display in the hall of the mansion. Grandfather was the one who had written it. And the person who solved it would supposedly be given to the inheritance of the hidden gold or something like that. Ever since it was the first put on display there several years ago. Shaq cut it out image for a second. It also makes me think that before I used to say that Maria got Beatriz's like ego, but like Beatriz's ego is not nearly as bad as Kinso. So it makes me think more that Rosa. That Rosa got Kinso's egomaniac tendencies. That would be neat. Anyways. Ever since it was first put up for display there several years ago, the relatives had secretly tried to solve the riddle, despite saying on the surface that the whole idea was oh yeah, also Shaq image again. I guess that whole theory kind of falls apart now, because that theory came about from me thinking that Beatriz was Kinso's mistress, and that's why some of the family members looked similar to her, because they had her blood. But now that I believe that Beatriz is the daughter instead, I guess I kind of scrap that theory for now. Unless the actual mistress did also look like our Beatriz. But I don't know. That's too stupid, I think. If all the children are bastard children from a servant, then that falls apart. I don't like that. It makes sense that all the legitimate children were from the legitimate marriage, and the one hidden child, Beatriz, is from the illegitimate marriage. Not marriage. You get it. Whatever. The relatives secretly tried to solve that riddle, despite saying on the surface that the whole idea was silly. Another Shaq image, like, this is the first time I thought about that since then. I never went back to think about that theory about Beatrice being the mother and how it's cooked now. And it reminds me of how when I was reading Homestuck, I was shipping two characters who turned out to be siblings. It was like, what was it? It happened in Elden Ring as well, when I thought that Godfrey was a child of Marika when he was her husband. I tend to do that a lot, it would seem. However, up until today, no one has solved it. We were once again being urged to solve that unintelligible riddle, and this time we were faced with the threat that we'd all be killed if we didn't solve it. If that wasn't a game, what else could it be? The board opinion that we should search for the premises where the culprit did come up once. However, there was a good chance that they were armed, and that they might not be just one of them. And while they might have been able to kill more than 6 people, they had stopped at 6. The opinion that won out in the end was that we should avoid needlessly antagonizing the culprits and hole up in the safe place while we waited for the police to arrive. 1 second. We're back. After the adults carefully checked that the doors and windows in the guest house were locked, they set up camp in the lobby. As they loaded their guns to distract themselves from detention, their expressions showed that they were already fatigued from the long day, which had still barely begun. There was nothing for me to do. Now all I could do was be taught how to use a gun, to prepare for the off chance of something happening that led to an excess of guns. That's fine. Just obediently stay there, me and the rest of you. Oh boy. 6 people in the beginning again. And this time his grandfather and all of the servants put together. Yay! I forgot she's here. Yay. Most likely, that child has carefully studied your moves from the last game and has made an optimal move by taking the pieces you were most likely to suspect from the start. Wait. We're still good because the one I suspect is Kinso, and Kinso's still alive. That makes sense. That was true both last time and the time before that. The servants who knew everything about the mansion and who walk around with keys always fall into the most suspicious category of people. A good example of the last game would be Jessica's closed room. And if I only just accepted that a servant was the culprit, that wouldn't even have been a closed room.
And so, the child went straight for them, probably to block off a method of escape you'd be likely to attempt sooner or later.
Beato already proclaimed and read that there are no more than 18 people on this island. In other words, it's time to give up on that. Her wording was weird, buddy. Now that I got to suspect one of the 18.
The child will probably come at you by stealing the pieces of all the 18 while also making a prayer to the 19th person who shouldn't exist. For then you would be forced to accept that your opponent is a witch. After all, now that the intimidation approach has failed, trying to force you to surrender by showing you magic, the only remaining option is a frontal attack.
Perfect. Bluffing won't work anymore.
Be careful. Deception is what witches are best at. No matter what your opponent says or shows you, it will not be able to threaten the truth that you believe in. Don't forget that.
Sure. I was about to fall for the same moves over and over. Come on out, Beatrice. Let's get started! I am already seated at the table of the contest, and my turn is already complete. To think we would end up having Madame at our firm. This will be no easy, my lady. This will not be easy, my lady. Our moves will be ready thoroughly. I care not. By now, teachers' moves are all old-fashioned classics. There is nothing to fear.
So just what moves can you make beyond the classes I taught you? I look forward to seeing Beatrice.
You okay with this, Butler? Can someone who denies witches really accept a witch as a strategist? Your stupid provocation is pointless. This is my advisor. No, my second. That doesn't change one bit, that this is a fist fight between you and me. I understand. One as wobbly as yourself probably needs training wheels on his bicycle. Do as you like. Come, let's begin. It's your turn. Whoa! What is this music? Oh my goodness. Holy cow. Ooh. Oh my gosh. Yeah. Let's begin with the reconstruction of the crime scene. Virgilia, quickly please.
The first corpse is covered by shenanigans. She was found in the parlor on the first floor of the mansion. The door and windows were locked and a closed room was established.
Beato, I need some details. Let's reconfirm the definition of a closed room.
Indeed. The term closed room refers to a room where the inside and the outside are completely cut off from each other. Naturally, it would be impossible to even affect things across the boundary line much less enter or escape across it. This includes an all-inclusive denial of the existence of hidden doors, as well as all possibility of intervention from the outside. Henceforth, this shall be referred to as Beatrice's closed room definition.
Let's focus a bit. How do you define all possibility of intervention from the outside?
I refer to all types of direct intervention from the outside, such as using the fishing line or a long, thin rod. In conclusion, there are no gaps in the doors and windows through which such tricks will work.
I wonder about that. Even if there wasn't a gap, you should be able to interfere with radio waves, like with a remote control, right?
Very well. I'll add to this definition that interference due to radio waves and related methods of remote control shall be impossible.
There's also an extension telephone in the parlor. A device connected to that wouldn't count as a remote control, right?
The phones are already unusable, are they not? Whatever. I'll include that too. All direct and indirect methods of interfering with the inside of the closed room from the outside of the room are impossible.
What about a voice or a knock? Those should be able to interfere from the outside without someone entering the room, right?
Even though it's a closed room, it probably isn't impossible for someone to knock or call out. The closed room definition does not cover whether transmission or of intent across the boundary is possible or not.
In other words, you can't
make it so your definition includes the blockage of all methods of communication with the outside.
That is indeed the case.
Understood. So Shannon-chan's parlor satisfies Beatrice's closed room definition, right? Correct. Closed room definition is understood. Continue, Virgilia.
Yes. Shannon's corpse was in possession of one master key.
Okay, so what I think happened here... Let me say my piece first. What I think happened is that each of the servants, they all together went into a room. They were all planning this, they were orchestrating this. They were all in this plan. So each one went into a room. They all choose one to kill. They leave them dead with their key on their dead body. All of them leave, lock the door with their master key. And now rinse and repeat. Do that for every room until you get to the last one where... So, this is probably not the case, but I'm gonna say you can't lock a room from the inside. You have to lock it from the outside. So, because if it's from the inside, then easy. The last servant remaining goes into the last room, locks it, kills themselves. The end. But let's make it more interesting, and let's say that you can unlock it from the inside. So, last servant goes into the last room. Kinso, or themselves, either a suicide or Kinso, kills the last servant, leaves their key with their dead body, and now Kinso leaves that room and locks it with whatever super master key he has as the headmaster. I'm not sure if that was said. I'm not sure if his key for his room can open other doors, but that's, you have two possibilities there. Either the last servant goes into a room, locks it from the inside and kills himself, or Kinso also has a type of master key, kills the last servant in the last room, and then he leaves and locks the door there. Boom, bam, pow. There you go. Those are my defenses for now. It was just like, each room, one servant stays and the rest leave. The relatives who discovered her collected this. Beato, repeat it. How many master keys this time? The same as last time. There are 5, 1 for each servant. Which means it still isn't a closed room. There were still 4 master keys left. It just means that after Shannon-chan was murdered, one of the other 4 keys locked it. Correct. Hey, it wasn't only a master key that was found.
Yes. Alongside the corpse there was a Western envelope with a family crest. Instead of a letter, the key to a guest room on the 2nd floor was inside it.
Interesting. I think the main gimmick and fun of this mystery is going to be making a timeline. Because they're saying like the guest key is right here, meaning that the guest room victim had to die first before Shannon, etc. You get it. So I think that's gonna be really fun. And what it's going to lead us is going to lead us to discovering that Kinso was the last one to die, quote unquote. The keys to the 2nd floor guest room. The only key other than the master key that can open the door to the 2nd floor guest room. Is that definition correct?
Indeed, there was no problem. And unlike the master keys, only one of those exists.
Okay. I can tell this is gonna be the funnest one. And I need it to start writing down. I haven't written anything in the Umineko channel in my server in so long because everything has just stayed in my head. There we go. Shannon dead in parlor with master key and guest room key. Indeed, there is no problem, and unlike the master keys, only one of those exists.
In other words, apart from the 5 master keys, there will be only one key that can unlock certain rooms.
In other words, there's a message telling them to go to the second floor guest room next. So the adults moved to the second floor guest room, right?
Yes. The door to the second floor guest room was locked, and a magic circle was drawn in it. The relatives unlocked it with a key they had found near Shannon's corpse. Inside, Kumasawa's corpse was discovered. It was a closed room. One that satisfied Baptiste's closed room definition. Kumasawa was in possession of one master key. The relatives connected this. And like in Shannon's case, there was a western envelope discovered alongside her. Inside was the key to the third floor waiting room. The relatives moved to the third floor waiting room.
Kumasawa, dead in second floor guest room. Master key and what was that? Third room waiting room? Third floor waiting room. Third floor waiting room key. Let me highlight this. Yep. So there was a magic circle on the door to the third floor waiting room and the door was locked.
Yes. Inside the room, Golda's corpse was discovered. The room was a closed room, on one that satisfied Baptiste's closed room definition. While there was a possession of one master key, the relatives connected this. And like up until now, a western envelope with the family seal was discovered, inside of which was the key to the second floor VIP room.
Golda dead in third floor waiting room. Let me format these better. Master key and second floor VIP room key.
The relatives moved to the second floor VIP room.
What's going on here? What are you planning?
There's no need to glare, is there? It may be a closed room, but there are still multiple master keys that can open it, correct? And besides, the master keys, I'm giving you the key specific to each room.
I don't like where this is going, but I'm starting to see how it'll turn out. So it continues like this for all 6 people.
Yes, that is correct. Inside the second floor VIP room, Genji's corpse was discovered. One master key was collected. The key to the underground boiler room was discovered.
Dead in second floor VIP room. Master key and underground boiler room key. No, I did not mean to highlight the and. There you go.
They moved to the underground boiler room. Inside the underground boiler room, Kinzo's corpse was discovered. The key to the chapel was discovered.
Interesting. I thought Kinzo would be the last.
They moved to the chapel.
Well, I mean, obviously Kinzo's the last. I'm just saying that I thought they were gonna... Whatever. Wait, he only had 1 key on him. Okay. Kinzo dead in boiler room. Key to chapel.
Inside the chapel, Kanon's corpse was discovered. Our master key was collected. The key to the first floor parlor was discovered.
Yep.
With this, the reconstruction of how all 6 corpses were discovered is complete.
Kanon dead in chapel. Master key.
I keep forgetting to highlight them.
And parlor key. Okay. So does my theory still hold up? Yeah. No, absolutely it does. The problem is that it could be in any order. That just means that Kanon and Kinso were the last 2. Kinso killed Kanon in the chapel. Wait. No, okay, I'm seeing the cracks. Ooh, there's a head-hurting one. Wait, hold up. I'm thinking. This one's fun. Crap! Okay, wait. It's 2 things. Okay. This is fun. This is so fun. I gotta bust out the MS Paint, I think, for this one. I'm not sure how I would even illustrate this, though. Okay, there's 2 possibilities. I have you on speaker while I'm in Vegas and sick. Oh no! I hope you feel better soon. And I was talking of you in a Umineko chat room with love. I don't believe that. Thank you for this experience, but I have lost mocos in my nose. Of course, you're welcome. It really does sound like that. Okay, we're not moving on until I can illustrate this. Alright. Tomato in there, that's true. I'm taking out the tools I'll need for this. Where's my cable? It's the charger. There it is. Alright, let's see if I can capture this thing. Alright. Yeah, Mario Paint. See, I can still see chat. Did I move it? Okay, cool. It's over the chat! Oh, thank you for saying that. Thank you for saying that. There you go. You're good. You're good. You're good. Okay. So, here's what I'm thinking. Oh crap, I need to see my colors. I just might mess up how it looks on stream. One sec. Yeah, of course I'm going to narrate everything. I'm also gonna have a visual for it. So, let's see if I can do this goodly. Can I make it all like gray or something so we don't get to see this? Cool. Poop brown, awesome. Okay, now I'm not dealing with poop brown. Here. Make it all red. Okay, so. It's gonna be so hard. It's gonna be so hard. So I think it was in reverse. I think it's the reverse order that we saw. If it's any other order, I'm cooked. I'm screwed. My head is not big enough for that. So. No, wait. No, wait. Boom, 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 boom. Boom, 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 boom. Is it all lopsided? No. Okay, I'm not gonna worry about how they look. Okay, just this once. I'm not trying to make a masterpiece here. This is the chapel, clearly, right? So, what can I use to represent everyone? Okay, well, how many people are there? 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. There's 6 people. Why did it switch to that? 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. So, all of them go to the chapel. But only Kanon gets killed in the chapel. What's the keybind for eraser again? E. Ah, it erases the back as well. Okay, wait. I need to make layers for this. Stop moving around. I haven't used Acid Sprite in so long. I forgot how everything works. Okay. Church. I mean chapel. No! Is it B? Yeah, it's B. I'm learning all the keybinds again. Why does it have to be lopsided? Am I stupid? Okay, chapel. Clearly. Now, let's make a layer for the people. Nah, let's not. So, Kanon. This is Kanon right here. He stays to the chapel. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. No, just 5. So the other 5 are here. They're all alive. Kanon stays in the chapel. Either they kill him. This is all coordinated. They're all on this together. So either they kill him or he kills himself. Either way, he dies in the chapel. X. He dies in the chapel. He dies with the boiler key. Right? So he dies in the boiler key and the master key. I'm not even gonna say master keys. I'm just gonna say the individual keys. So he dies with the boiler key and they leave him there. They use their master keys or the chapel key to lock the door. Next. Boiler. How can I represent the boiler? Smoke. That's the boiler. In the boiler, Kinso, or quote-unquote Kinso, you know, I'm still bringing up with the idea for him not being dead, but let's just say for now that he is dead. Kinso is the one that dies here. So they leave him dead there with the boiler, not the boiler key, the chapel key, and only 4 remain now. Next. Can I move it? Yeah. No, that's not a second. Okay, next, it's Genji. In the VIP room. In the VIP room, Genji stays, and Genji's the one that dies. And he dies with the underground boiler key. You're getting it. It's just, let's go in reverse. Genji dies there, and now 3 remain. Yep. Next is Goda in the waiting room. I'm just gonna represent it with a W. So in the waiting room, I guess it's the waiting room. Goda stays there and dies. Again, either they're suicides or the remaining people kill them. But either way, they're all in on it. He dies with the second floor VIP key, and now 2 remain. Next, Kumasawa. Kumasawa in the second floor guest room. That's a G. In the guest room, Kumasawa stays, and she dies there. Now only 1 remains. Shannon. And she dies with the waiting room key, obviously. So now, all that's left is Shannon in the parlor. And Shannon dies here. So, either it's a suicide. No, I mean, it has to be a suicide. So, yeah, this is super self-explanatory. It's a suicide. She kills herself in the parlor room with the second floor guest room key, making it seem like it's the other order, and like Kanon creates a loop, when in reality it was in the reverse order. Kanon was first, and then they go boom 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 boom. So Kanon, Kinso, Genji, Goda, Kumasawa, Shannon. That's how it happened. But another thing is that, again, I'm still the believer that Kinso was alive. So what if he's alive? This changes nothing. It's just that in the boiler room, we can just add him right here. Kinso was also there, and they just use a decoy body to put into the incinerator. So each one just has 1 extra person now, because Kinso has always been watching. And in the very end, that means that Kinso was there and still alive and has not died for when Shannon kills herself. So he's the mastermind, and he's been seen. These are his eyes. He's been seen all along. So there you go. it shockingly did help me to illustrate it, to understand it. It's just a group effort. Starting with Kanon, going in the reverse order that we discovered them. Each one has been dwindled down. One dies each trip. Boom, pow. There you go. Boom. That's it. That makes sense now. To me. Cool. We're keeping that in the back just in case we need it again. Did I put everything away now? I think I'm pretty confident with that. Let's just wait until a red word breaks everything. Like, what could break me right now with this? I guess saying who was first killed would do quite a number on me. But then no, because it doesn't really matter who was first killed. Because the way that I said it makes it so only one has to be a suicide. And the rest can happen in any order because there's still master keys left, each one. As long as one servant is alive, they have a master key to close the rooms. So only the last murder needs to be a suicide. So it works no matter which way you look at it. Cool. Epic sauce. Let's continue.
An addendum. Along with the key to the chapel, a letter was enclosed in the western envelope found near Kinsel's corpse. The contents of the letter were as you saw. It further urged the relatives to sort the riddle of the epitaph. In that case, what's going on?
If the last place where Kanon was had the key to the very first room, the parlor where Shannon was, that makes 6 close rooms all tied together, right?
That is correct!
So the mystery is which one was first. And to me, easy peasy, Kanon was first.
The 6 closed rooms were all tied together. The keys to unlock each one are all shut up inside the next room. In other words, the 6 closed rooms form one massive closed room, and all of the master keys as well as the individual room keys are shut up inside it. Furthermore, all the doors and windows in the 6 rooms are normal. No device exists which can lock them without a key, such as an auto lock. What do you think? It's beautiful, isn't it?
Once again, lady, that is not dignified. Ronove rebuked her, Beato stuck her tongue at him without showing any signs of shame.
Sorry. Playing with Butler just put me in such a good mood. So, Butler, what do you think of my move? If you can't think of anything in particular, I wouldn't mind showing you how I made the goats carry the corpses and seal all the rooms with magic, okay?
I wanted you to draw it in red with a small chance to just draw out this. That would have been fun. But no, I wasn't trying to create a circle. That would be antithetical to what I was trying to do. I was trying to create a line. Like, even though I had to do it vertically there, the way it's supposed to be, it's a line. That's why I had to let the arrows pointing to the right. You can't make it a loop, otherwise I'm screwed. What is it, Golden Land? Okay, smart guy, let's see you take a crack at it. I did, and I made it a line, not a loop. Do what you want. I'll listen respectfully to this magic theory that you claim is true. However, I can claim my human theory, even though it's completely different from yours without any interference from your claim. In other words, there's no need for me to pay attention to your bullcrap. Go ahead and show me how you can lock the door with your multicolored magic simply by waving your magic staff, just like those guys with their toad oil and all-purpose kitchen knives. Virgilia, let's reconstruct the crime scene. Search for a weakness. Were they all definitely dead? If one of them is just plain dead, this isn't a closed room at all.
Learned to confirm that all of them were dead. However, due to the devil's proof, it is impossible to deny the possibility of a wrong diagnosis. In other words, the child cannot make the likelihood that Nanjo overlooked them being alive equal to 0.
There it is. That devil's proof. But there exists a sword that can carve that up.
What's up with them?
Looks like they are having a
good time leaving me out of the discussion. I'm his opponent, am I not? Does he have any time to spare for me? Fundamentally speaking, communication with one opponent is not necessary to the act of competing in chess. Every time you communicated with him outside of making your moves, you've used the opportunity to confuse him. Perhaps it's the result of him not wanting to be led astray. For some reason, I don't like it. You are challenging him to a chess match, are you not? That's true, but...
Beatrice puffed out her cheeks as though to say, I don't know why, but I don't like it.
Because the police have not yet arrived at the crime scene, the human side ability to inspect the scene is limited. For a strict confirmation of death, I recommend that you have the child repeated in red.
Okay, that's where I'll strike. Repeat it! The 6 victims are all dead! This is a bit of a 9/11 for me if she does say it. But I don't think it'll be too hard of a 9/11.
The lady, has he told you to repeat something in red, has he not?
Hey, enough lazing around. Do you refuse to repeat it? This is where our battle starts.
What? Ow, 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 ow! sorry, that's fine. I'll answer. Kim...
Kinda 9/11. Kinda 9/11. It just sucks. It's like it doesn't ruin my theory. My theory was made with the idea that Kinsel was dead. But it hurts because I wanted Kinsel to be the mastermind. This is not a theory 9/11. This is an emotional 9/11 because I'm disappointed. I wanted Kinsel to be there. But no, wait. Again. Baptist's lies can be wrong. What if Kinsel became such a great grandmaster that he could trick even her into believing he's dead? It's copium, right? Like I'm not betting anything on this. It's just copium that I want him to be alive. But again, if he's dead, fine. It doesn't ruin anything. What it does ruin is the future murders. I was betting that Kinsel was the one killing everyone, so if Kinsel's dead, he was gonna commit the future murders, but that is a future problem. Kinsel, Genji, Shannon, Kanon, Goda, and Kumasawa, these 6 are all dead. Why are you so out of it? Okay, so I already got one out of you. We'll start by denying that classic trick where the victims are plain dead. I won't go easy on you anymore, come at me how you like. There's another thing. It could be that she does know that this Kinsel is a fake. It's just that she wasn't asked about that. So it is truth that the person you believe to be Kinsel is dead. That's another thing. That's another loop you can make on that wording. I'll slice them slant-wise one after another. Then repeat this. No one is hiding in any of the 6 rooms. Let's see you deny the existence of people we aren't aware of.
I'll answer.
There is no one hiding in the 6 rooms. Okay. Now I'm sure it's only the 6 of them in the can, and they aren't pretending to be dead. What will you do? What will you do? As if human could manage anything by now. They obediently kneel to the fact that I can control locks at will with my wonderful magic, okay? Quit babbling. Repeat this too. The 6 deaths were instant deaths. Instant deaths? What do you mean by that?
It makes a possibility that a single victim on the verge of death managed to escape into the room, and after locking it from the inside, created a closed room, they passed away.
Huh? That's such a weird way of... Why would you ask that? Just say. Whatever, it means nothing to me. A classic room murder trick. One requiring that the victim receive a fatal wound and then die later. It is possible for a closed room to be constructed acceptably Except that the victim holds up inside the room to escape the murder, and then dies after locking the door. They did that in Danganronpa.
In order to deny that possibility, you will need to proclaim that the six died instantly with the red truth. Very well, very well. I'll slay you with my red treasured sword. The six died instantly. I mean, the targets instantly became incapable of action after being attacked. Well, it might still have taken them several seconds or minutes to die in this complete sense of the word. But regardless, it was completely impossible for them to take any action of their own will. In that sense, I can confirm that they suffered instant deaths.
Like, that's really funny of trying to destroy my theory, but my theory is that they locked the door well before. Okay, in the case of Shandong's suicide, she locked the door well before she inflicted any wounds on herself. In the case of all the other ones, it's the other people locking the door, so it doesn't even matter. I'm spoiled, I'm sorry. It's big enough, trust me. It's not that big of a spoiler. You don't know what game, you don't know nothing. Up until this point, I've just been checking for the classic tricks. Now's when our showdown over the closed rooms really starts, okay? If the culprit isn't on the inside, they're on the outside. So they somehow killed from the outside the rooms. No? What are you on about? This guy? Inside the room, they kill the guy. They leave the room, they lock it. What do you mean they killed from the outside? Have you lost your mind? After all, a closed room equals murder is impossible from the outside, right? That's why only a magical murder would be possible. No, that's wrong. The right approach is a murder really happened equals it is in a closed room. No matter how much you try to trick me, that is definitely is in a closed room. It's a sham that only looks like one. There you go, you're getting somewhere. However, Butler-san, only the victims are inside the rooms, and no other people exist inside the rooms. And by my latest closed room definition, remote murders from outside the room have been denied, have they not? Right. The definition of remote murders is pretty broad, right? It's not just about pulling a fishing line from the outside the room and strangling the victim inside the room. For example, a trap would make for an excellent remote murder. A trap? Oh, and what might that be? Just an example, let's say they were instructed to enter the rooms that someone had picked out beforehand, and lock the doors from the inside to create the closed room themselves. A trap was set up in those rooms that they didn't know about, and that's what killed them. How's that? That doesn't contradict anything. There are no problems. It corresponds to the existing state. There are no problems on our side either. It does not conflict with my latest closed room definition.
What's with that stupid reasoning? Nothing suspicious was found in any of the rooms, right? What form did that trap have? What was it hidden and how did it operate? Explain that for all six of them in the parlor, the guest room, the waiting room, the VIP room, the boiler room, and the chapel. Well, you can't, can you?
Decline refutation. There were no need for me to explain it. There's no need for me to explain that. And even so, it doesn't damage my claim.
What did you say? That irresistible proof. The fact that he cannot explain the nature of the trap does not itself deny the existence of such a trap.
Well done. Well, we're very a wonderful mood.
This guy's getting completely used to this.
Check. Due to murder trap X that we couldn't find, it'll be possible to establish this closed room murder.
I'll kill that check with the red truth.
The six were not killed by traps. And the definition of a trap?
That's it. Something that activates when a victim triggers it on their own. Oh, well, that's not all. It also includes things activated by remote control over our timer, everything of that sort.
So it refers to all arrangements that cannot carry out a murder without the direct participation of the one who planned it out. Perhaps we might sum it up that way.
How's that? I'm struck back, as if I'd let a human crush this closed room.
You're looking pretty frantic to win too.
What? What do you mean?
You're frantically fighting to make me accept your existence. Until now, I thought I was just being toyed around with by you one-sidedly. But that's not actually true. You're also frantically resisting my counters, fighting to show that you exist. Now, I finally really feel that it's true. This isn't torture inflicted on me over whether I surrender or not. This is a fight between you and me on an even footing. Now it's starting to get interesting, isn't it? All 6 died in closed rooms, and no outsiders were involved. Were inside. And there was no meddling from the outside, and also no traps. Up until now, I probably started suspecting that this had to be the work of magic. And if you decided to show off some bizarre magic at this moment, I might even have surrendered. It's that favorite strategy of yours. You intercept all my moves, and in the moment I exhausted all options and fall into my knees, when my heart's barriers are at their weakest, you show off some strange magic and take the game all at once.
That sort of temper is something this child has always had, along with bad habit of rushing things when victory is in sight.
After all, my lady cannot stand putting up a match.
Hey, shut up! It's Battler's turn, right? I finished off that trapeze you advanced. What should I repeat next? Show me what you've got.
Right? 1 second. Okay.
Right. Now that even traps have been defeated, this looks like a perfect closed room murder at a glance. And that's where I spin the chessboard around right now. Here it comes, that special technique of yours. How exactly are you going to spin what around? Try showing me!
Yeah, I'll show you. I don't need to think about how 6 people could be killed inside closed rooms from the outside. It's useless. It's all useless. That's right, the question isn't how you can kill from outside the rooms. The point is how they died inside the rooms, making them closed rooms. That's it. This is the answer. If you assume that one of the 6 victims was the culprit, this closed room can be explained extremely easily.
What? Ridiculous! I believe I clearly said in the red that the 6 of them were dead.
Oh, there were 6 deaths. 5 were victims who got killed. But if you assume that the other person committed suicide, you can't destroy this closed room! Yes! Certainly. If the culprit locked themselves in the final closed room and threw away their own life, this closed room chain would be established.
The suicide of the culprit, normally it would be an unthinkable move. But the arguments of the unthinkable cannot exist, cannot be used. And he has no responsibility to demonstrate a motive, a truly powerful move which can only be used in chess magic as a witch.
Well, one cannot be certain that there was no motive. For example, it has been announced that Kinso only had a short time left to live. Perhaps he did not regret losing his short remaining life and used his own death to send a message. It might be possible to attach such a motive. Milady, it's our turn.
Indeed! To think you'd trample even the dignity of the dead to create a culprit! What a heartless, cold-blooded man!
Outside of the dead as the culprit, this worse than inhuman move is one you used to attack Kanunkun in the last game. Even though the games are different, I'm taking a shot back at you with this move, as a tribute to Kanunkun for that time. Just now, I freed that Kanunkun from his regrets.
You have no responsibility to hold back here. You should try to confirm what suicide wasn't the cause of any of the deaths. I recommend that you have the child repeated in red.
Right! But suicide's a naive word that won't corner her. Battle, this'll stop you. Repetition requested! The 6 deaths were all homicides! That is pitiful. Huh? What's wrong? All 6 of them were killed, right? I'm just confirming that simple premise we've had from the very beginning, right? Can you repeat it? I refuse to repeat it. Yes! I win! I win!
There's no reason in particular.
You realize that refusing to repeat this part is the same as resigning, right? Checkmate! One of the 6 was the culprit, and they planned to commit suicide after constructing the closed room. That's all! Wait, no, I'll say it! I'll say it! I'll use the red like you want! None of the 6 committed suicide! I'm not falling victim. just... No, don't be laughing at me. I'm not falling for it. She refused to answer at first for a reason. So why? I know why. I know why. I'm going to need to redo my timeline. Because Kinso... No, I don't need to redo... No. I think I do. No, okay. I need to redo my timeline. I do need to redo my timeline. What matters is that Kinso is alive. That body is not Kinso's. None of the 6 committed suicide because none of the 6 bodies we found were suicides. They were all killed by someone else, which means one of them is still alive. So, the 6 we found, Kurosawa, Shannon, Kanon, Goda, Genji, and the mysterious body, none were suicides. But Kinso, the 7th person, is still alive, and he was the one who killed everyone. I'm not falling for your tricks. I'm not falling for your tricks. Yes. How's that? Are you satisfied? I've struck back. What the hell? So you can say it? But that's strange. Why are you so panicky? It's your imagination. This time, even I'm feeling the pressure. That's right, I don't have any leeway. Pay it no mind. The line you asked our child to repeat has been altered. Do not be fooled. It seems not to have worked, my lady. That's right. She didn't say the 6 deaths were all homicides. She changed it to none of the 6 committed suicide. Which means one of them wasn't killed by someone else and didn't commit suicide. That's the mysterious body. It was... Okay. The mysterious body, whoever this mysterious body is, honestly, they kept bringing it up so much. What if it's like that one servant that saw Bathory so many years ago? Like, you would assume their body is like long rotted by now, but I'm just a thought out there. Whatever, it doesn't matter. What matters is that this mysterious 6th body wasn't killed by anyone and they didn't commit suicide, so they probably died by old age. What if it's like Kinso's wife or something? Like, there's a lot of possibilities. Either way, this mysterious body that he used as a decoy was not a suicide and wasn't killed by someone else. They died by disease, old age, and accident, whatever. I got it. I'm so locked in. I've got it! This is the truth! Culprit X was hiding among the 6, murdered the other 5, and then set up a closed room. After that, they planned to escape from or hide in that room by some method. However, they got it in an accident. The culprit died from an accident that even they hadn't expected, setting up a closed room murder that even they hadn't desired. Now it's over, Beatrice. Checkmate! Did you think I'll be cornered by something like that? I'll never announce my resignation over something like that. I'll slice up that foolish checkmate with my red treasure sword over and over again. None of the 6 died in an accidental... My apologies. We request some time to strategize. Please allow us a brief postponement on this matter. It's a fair request. Perhaps you should accept it. Sure, take a break. I've been given those a lot lately. Now it's your turn to take one. Thank you very much. Come, my lady, this way. And let us quietly count to 100 inside our heads. Renoir quickly recovered Malcolm's mouth with his hand as she grew thoroughly panicked and agitated, suspecting the game. He pulled Malcolm away, supposedly to hold a strategy conference. Please, I need the manga panel for that. Please. Oh my gosh, that's great. I gotta end stream soon because I gotta go eat, so I'm not gonna put up the paint right now and make the new timeline. Let's see. And because my timeline doesn't work, because the keys don't, because that means that Shannon needs to be a suicide, because Kinso cannot lock Shannon's room, I think. So I need to redo it so that Kinso still has access to a key. It's going to be hard, but I'll do it later for sure. Off stream. Damn. That demon butler. What about Ogaro Ohara? I had a perfect chance to corner her. Bato normally acted like she was graceful and above it all, but she actually had a really short temper and got mad easily. Her usual intellect had less of a voice when she got excited.
Rodove certainly is thinking clearly. He probably gave your opponent some time to cool down. That child grew too stubborn trying to remove your check. It was about to easily let several large pieces go. After all, the first fight was only a skirmish. The correct move at the time would have been to withdraw.
So what does that mean? Did it reach checkmate or didn't I? I can't wait to see the Umi Fuller chat. I'm so confident that I'm right about this. I gotta see.
That child was about to say something in red. He probably wouldn't have reached checkmate yet, but most likely, you can expect our opponents to resign once they've cooled their heads.
You're joking. Even though she hates losing that much?
Yes. In losing a battle, it is essential to withdraw your troops as soon as possible to try and minimize your losses. The difficult part is gauging whether it's a losing battle or not. Your opponent's butler seems to have calmly made that decision.
Oh well. In other words, she managed to escape by an air's breath. Looks like getting checkmate and delivering the final blow won't be that easy for me.
However, you should count this as your victory. It seems they barely managed to prevent a large loss, but they certainly sustained considerable damage. The scale of that child's panic out to make the depths of that wound quite clear to you.
Seriously? It feels like she'll start crying if I bullied her anymore. As we talked, Ronove turned to Vedato, who wore a meek expression. She didn't yet have her usual bold smile, but it looked like the blood wasn't rushing to her head anymore. Hey, it's your turn. Did you decide your next move?
I resign. For now, I will let you have your victory.
Battle told me that frankly. It seems she'd taken a far-sighted view, as though saying, if you want to laugh, then laugh. It was a bit of a killjoy, and I lost my desire to deliver the final blow. Well, maybe you resign. That just means we're even, since my theory and yours can't deny each other. You should treat it more like a tie than a loss.
I don't need your disgusting sympathy. I'm telling you that I lost this round. When you find a dog drenched in rain, do you have a sudden urge to whack it with a stick or something?
Nope. I'm not you. Even though she ridiculed me horribly when I showed signs of defeat, this is the best she got when the tables have turned. I did feel that was pretty cowardly of her, but I decided to act with dignity as though victor into the slide. Bato resigned. That's the one result of the first twilight. Beatrice could encounter my move on one of the six was a culprit, and that person died in any accident. No, she probably could have encountered it, but for some strategic reason she admitted defeat. It felt less like I've won and more like I'd let her slip away for the last second. Because if you say and read that it wasn't an accident, the only conclusion you'll be able to draw is that one of the victims wasn't one of the victims you know of, and yada bam bam bam, it would lead to my conclusion. So I'm ahead. I'm checking Golden Lad. Yes, I'm going to beat you up. That's great. I gotta remake it. It's gonna be so hard, but I can do it. Dictity Mistress, oh my gosh, that pedal's so cute. The tongue out. I love it. And now the mouth covering one. Yes. That is exactly how I picture her. What I pictured and why I made her sound so extra was I picture her just kicking her feet and being dragged away. Oh my god, she's actually kicking her feet in the second picture. The manga's so good. And the manga does everything I imagine in my head. It's so perfect. Oh my gosh, yes. In my muffles, I also made her say "screw you, Badger" in a more vulgar way. In a chess match with a witch, battles can be fought solely with pieces known as X, which require no detailed explanation. Thanks to the devil's proof, I could create as many strange fictions as I wanted and use them as figments in our argument. But that only works in a chess match with a witch. In our human world, you can't use such abstract theories to explain things. The first toilet was a chain of 6 closed rooms. It certainly may have been possible for a human. Baoto wasn't able to deny all possibilities. However, I don't have a clue who committed the crime, or why, or how they actually did it. It may seem strange to hear me saying this after I won, but for some reason I felt like I'd have been more satisfied if Beatrice had been able to say definitely that it wasn't possible for humans. I managed to avoid specifics using an abstract piece called X, but I couldn't deny that sense of some eerie intent that must never be known was filling up the entire mansion. Bravo. End of stream. We're ending stream there, but that was incredible. Wow! I've been so starved for a good battle like that in so long, to finally have my all your theories are correct hello moment. Finally, I win. And despite her trying so hard to break me and using some baloney like Kinso Kinso was dead. I didn't fall for it. I stood strong. And I win. I won. Yules is angry, don't end. I'm sorry, Yules. But I'm gonna starve here. I'm starving. I gotta eat. But yeah, thank you all for watching. My apologies to Yules. And may you all have a wonderful rest of your day. That was this game, dude. I haven't finished it, but this is easy. I don't do it. I'm very picky. I'm very, very picky with the games I give 5 stars in my game list. Oh, I shouldn't even be saying this, bro. Never mind. I said nothing. I'm out of here. Goodbye to everyone, and have a wonderful day. That was awesome.